Today, we're going to be taking a look at AI features that are rolling out for Zoho Analytics. These spread everything from like data pipeline and transformation work all the way through to data visualization and providing some additional context and insight into the types of data trends that you're seeing. A lot of this stuff is already rolled out. Some of it is coming soon. So let us jump right on in and take a look. This is kind of the main landing page for it. It does a good job at describing at a high level some of the types of things that these AI tools are going to be doing inside of Zoho Analytics. One of them here, we're looking at kind of the data pipeline builder for analytics. This is where maybe you've got a variety of different data sources pulling in and you want to kind of pipe them into some type of consolidated and adjusted table. If we check here on the right, basically all the user needs to do is ask it to do some of these things. So, hey, join the data sets on an order ID. And then it will do that for you here via a join and output the resultant table for you. Then let's say I want to actually push this data set into analytics directly. I can just ask it to do that, and it will add that to my specific pipeline. This pipeline builder tool originally was just in data prep, but is in analytics, has been for a little while. And these AI tools are really useful just for essentially reducing the number of clicks and actions that you need to take to actually bring data together. I will highlight, you're still going to need to know some of those fundamental concepts, right? So all the way back here, as you're saying, do the join based on this unique identifier order ID. So there is still some knowledge that you're going to need to have in order to get a good output with this, but it definitely reduces some of the time and effort involved for those kind of data engineers and data processing types of requirements that you have in analytics. Now, we're actually going to come back to this page, but I do want to dig in a little bit further on this other one that shows a bit more information about the data piping and transformation steps that are needed here. So as we look through it, really problems that we're looking to solve: struggles with queries, difficulty extracting, transforming, and loading, your classic ETL process. And this one, I will tell you, is 100% true. A lot of the time that goes into analytics is really used on data preparation, getting things ready and formatted in a way that allows me to do my analysis, right? So this is like writing SQL queries, reformatting, using aggregate and standard formulas. So what they're really trying to do, and I'll highlight some of this stuff as we go through, is give you a better way to visualize data in that preparation process and even do some of those transformations that are oftentimes necessary. Transformations range from something simple, like you have a column that is full name. You want to get the first thing before the first space and call that first name. And then everything afterwards, you want to call that last name, right? That could be the type of transformation you're doing. It could also be big, complicated math statements that need to be done. One of the things I'll highlight here, and I think Zoho should feature this more, is in the transformation, there's actually another AI tool where you can see here over on the right, you have this window function. That's basically where you're going to write some type of formula to do transformations. They have a really cool feature for this where, let's say that I'm doing that first name, last name. Well, option one is I write the formula statement to do it. Option two is I can actually manually fill it in for 2 or 3 records and then tell Zoho and the AI tool, hey, figure out the formula that will recreate this output for me, right? And then apply it to this column. That one I actually found to be very useful when I used it myself. It saved me a meaningful amount of time in writing a difficult transformation script. So definitely recommend checking that out as you are digging into analytics. But even outside of just the use cases on like the data engineer side of the aisle, there's also a use case here for analysts and business users. So again, thinking data engineers are like getting the data out of systems, putting those together, and then outputting them with the necessary transformations into the analytics tool. Once it's in the analytics tool, now you're going to hand it to analysts and users, right? Who are going to try to understand that data and apply it to improve business outcomes, right? So here we can see kind of a use case for the analysts and users, or an analyst, right? Where they're saying, hey, what's the monthly contribution by different channels for the last month? It'll go ahead and just give you that graph, right? So as you know, if you're a heavy analytics user, this graph would not be super difficult to put together myself, but it would definitely still save me some time if I were to have an AI tool do it for me. But the interesting thing here is you can go a level deeper and start to ask some of those why questions, right? So things like, why did my sales drop right? What happened that resulted in that decrease? And it says, hey, two things. Wholesale sales seem to have gone down a bit, as well as sales by this particular product category seem to have gone down a bit. Now, I will highlight, whenever you're asking these types of AI tools why questions, like why did sales go down, you want to always apply your human judgment and the context that you have as you're evaluating what it tells you. So even just in this example here, why did my sales drop in this particular period? And it notes wholesale went down, right? But if we actually look at that previous graph, you can see that the previous month, it's benchmarking, your June month and why did sales go down? Well, the previous month was actually an outlier on the high side, right? So if we're to try to make the argument of why sales went down, using our human judgment, we might see, well, that previous thing that you're saying I went down from was a bit of an outlier, right? So when you use these tools, do make sure to kind of ask more follow-up questions and make sure that you are using your judgment and the things that you know to supplement the things that it are telling you, because it is going to make some errors like that, and it does lack some of that full context. Now, this second one I do think is a little more useful. The question was, how do I get sales to go up? So, hey, this product is converting really effectively. Maybe increase your ad spend there. Like, hey, you're discounting this product a lot and it's not converting much. Maybe not worth discounting, right? Things like that are actually super useful for a day-to-day user. Now, before we move on, I do want to ask, if you're finding the video useful so far, please be sure to like and subscribe down below. That's a totally free way to help us out. Leave me a comment with how you find yourself using AI tools in your analytics pipeline right now. And as always, head on over to Zonato.com and click on Book a Meeting if you'd like to talk about how we can help you with your Zoho implementation. Let's get back to it. But outside of just kind of asking those initial questions, one of the interesting things here, now that it's becoming more of an agent that can take more actions, is you can actually have it create things for you. So, hey, create me a sales dashboard with some regional metrics for the US. It works on that for a minute, and then it actually makes you a full dashboard. You can also then ask it to make some changes. So, the user, I don't know why it's clicking back like that. The user asked it here to make it dark mode, and it did that for them. As a person who spends a lot of time in analytics, I'm relatively picky about the way that my reports look and feel. When I go to a dashboard, I want the order of the dashboard to be in a certain way, generally from high-level metrics to more granular as I go down. I prefer different types of charts. Like, some people like many different colored lines. I almost always want that to be a stacked bar instead, but these are preferences. The thing is if it gets you a pretty decent version 1, it's going to be a lot easier for you to make those types of changes to get it exactly how you want, right? So even if it's not quite satisfying your preferences, if it's saving you half the time, because maybe half of these are good, the other ones you just want some changes to them, that's still much better than doing everything on your own. I kind of like these reports down here at the bottom. Like, these are good. So I would give this a try if you're new to analytics and if you're not super comfortable at making reports and dashboards, because it very well might save you a bunch of time, getting you pretty close to version 1, and then allowing you to still make those types of changes to get it to exactly how you want it to look and feel. The other interesting thing here is that this AI tool does allow for white labeling. So if you have analytics, maybe you've white labeled it internally for your company, maybe externally for your clients, you can actually offer a white labeled AI tool with your branding that is now going to exist inside of that embedded AI solution or analytics solution that you've already put together. Kind of a minor one. Most of our clients aren't doing white label, but if you are, you don't have to lose out on these AI features at all. They still do exist for you. Digging in a little bit further, right, to these other pages, Generative BI here, this is a deeper dive into some of the reports and dashboard abilities that you can do here, and a bit of that like diagnostic insight into what's going on in this graph, right? So again, some of those challenges, people do struggle, especially when they're new, to create reports and dashboards in analytics. And then, as you look at a report, what does it mean and what can I do about it? This is the one that, again, being candid, I think AI is going to struggle with because it just doesn't know the context, right? Like that example earlier, wholesale sales went down, but it was an outlier high month, and maybe a new competitor entered the market and they're selling at a really low price, right? And so, yes, your sales are going down. Spending more time trying to increase those might not actually be the best solution, right? It might make more sense to double down on things that are working well. Right. So that's where, just as a human being, you're always going to have that insight that the AI tool just isn't. But being able to ask questions, get quick answers, and not have to go through the whole process of making a chart. This comes up for me sometimes. Like I wanted a quick chart just to look at amongst our consulting team. There's a certain option in a task and like who's using it the most. A quick thing like that, AI tool is going to do pretty darn well, right? And it would save me the time of having to go in and make that report. And then again, getting the insights. This is where you need to layer this through your own judgment, but giving you some type of idea of here were outliers, here are some things that you might want to take a closer look at could definitely be useful. And then trying to diagnose those types of factors that are leading to certain outcomes, right? So something like, hey, why did my sales go down? And it's like, well, you spent a lot less on digital marketing. So yeah, your sales went down. But that's something where for a normal user, if you're just on the sales side of the house, you might not regularly be looking at ad budgets. And so this thing can point you to a piece of data that was non-obvious to you and might not be presented on your dashboard initially, allowing it to do some explanations similar to what we mentioned above, generating those types of visualizations based on prompts and questions that you might be asking, even doing predictive AI. Now, this, it really does just depend on how significant your trends are, right? Like this is clearly not something that's trending in a clear direction. So they're just giving you some type of expected range of outcomes based on previous ranges of outcomes. So why not? And then I'm interested to get my hands on this one. We're going to make a follow-up video on it, but the full AI studio and machine learning tools that exist behind the scenes. And now they're rolling out a Zoho Analytics MCP server. This is actually something I've been waiting on for a long time. For those who don't know, MCP is a model context protocol. It's basically something that you can integrate with your AI chat tool. That would be like your ChatGPT, your Claude, and it's essentially a set of instructions and an authentication that allows that chat tool to make API requests and get data from another system. We've been playing with the MCP that ties into CRM and ties into Creator. And really one thing that I keep bumping into is, man, I really would just like to tie this into analytics where I could point it to a specific table that I've like pre-formatted and set up to optimize its ability to use it, right? So really excited. That's something I'm going to start using here shortly, actually. I didn't know this was even released until I prepped to record this video. So I would be giving that a try ASAP because being able to bring in your CRM, desk, creator, projects, books data, write some type of master query or a handful of queries that kind of pre-prepares that, I think is going to be a really useful way to use this type of tool. And then just while we're here, I will mention the predictive analytics. One of the challenges with analytics is that it is always the past, right? And as we know, we can look at the past to try to make forecasts about the future, but oftentimes, being candid, we don't. We just look at that past data. And so essentially the predictive ability is trying to give you some type of insight into, based on how things normally seem to go, what do we think might happen in the future, right? So something like this, I appreciate this one, is like, hey, this is clearly an anomaly here. So let's not use it to predict our future data, right? How are data components clustering, right? Are there certain types of customers that look alike, right? Where I should be offering the same types of products and services to them because they are fundamentally similar customers where it might make sense. So overall, these tools, I'm really excited to get my hands on them inside of Zoho Analytics. Things like the data transformation work, I think is going to be really valuable. AI tools are pretty good at writing SQL statements just because SQL is such a ubiquitous language with so much available documentation that I have found that it does a pretty good job as long as it kind of understands the type of data that you're asking it to work with. On that kind of data pipeline and engineering side, I think it's going to be really useful. I will just put that asterisk on the business user perspective, just because, again, like it just doesn't know the full story in terms of why things are going on. And even in a case where it does, like in this example here, it doesn't seem to quite be catching the anomalously high number. And it's counting that as the reason, that things went down, which, just doesn't quite always make sense. So do use this. Leave me some comments down below with how it goes for you. If you ask it to make a dashboard, grade it and let me know, right? Because if this thing can put together like a B- quality dashboard that you then take to an A+, that's still saving you quite a lot of time. But I would be curious, as if everyone says, hey, this is giving me like C- level work right now, that would kind of change our recommendations to our clients on whether or not it's kind of worth the time to be playing around with it just quite yet. I would say though, regardless of its current performance, I would start getting used to using tools like this because they're going to get better and better and better. And it is worth your time to kind of learn the language and learn the workflow in using them to accomplish your goals in Zoho Analytics. With that, I think we're ready to wrap up here for today. As always, if you found the video useful, make sure to like and subscribe down below. That's a totally free way to help us out. While you're down there, leave a comment with how you anticipate using these and how it's going so far in your system. Really curious just to keep my finger on the pulse here in terms of how these are really being adopted in organizations. And if you'd like some help setting up Zoho for your organization, just head on over to Zanata.com and click on book a meeting. We're always happy to chat. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.